In the quiet southern town of Valdosta, Georgia, a case unfolded that would haunt the nation for years. A teenage boy, full of promise, vanished inside his high school, only to be found dead in a rolled-up gym mat the next day. This is the story of Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old whose tragic death remains shrouded in mystery, silence, and suspicion. More than a decade later, the question still echoes: what really happened to Kendrick? January 11th, 2013 began like any other day at Lowndes High School. Students shuffled into class, unaware that a dark discovery was about to change everything. By early afternoon, a group of students noticed something odd inside the school's old gymnasium. Among a stack of large rolled-up wrestling mats, they spotted a pair of sock-covered feet sticking out from the top of one mat. School officials called 911. What they found inside would ignite national outrage. Inside the vertically standing mat was the lifeless body of Kendrick Johnson, upside down, his face swollen from blood pooling, and no obvious signs of trauma. From the very beginning, the case was bizarre, and the answers would only grow more confusing. Local authorities quickly launched an investigation. Within days, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office released their preliminary theory. According to officials, Kendrick had been trying to retrieve a shoe that had fallen inside the upright mat and became stuck while reaching in head first. They claimed it was a tragic accident, that he suffocated after becoming trapped and unable to free himself. But Kendrick's family wasn't convinced. Almost immediately, they raised concerns about the investigation. They pointed to missing evidence, strange details, and most of all, the way the scene had been handled. Kendrick's face was disfigured from blood pooling, but his parents believed the injuries were more than just positional asphyxia. When Kendrick's body was returned from the first autopsy, the family was shocked to find that his internal organs were missing, replaced with newspaper. The official autopsy ruled his death an accident. But with each passing day, the story felt more incomplete. They demanded a second autopsy, this time from an independent pathologist. That second autopsy uncovered something the first had not: signs of blunt force trauma to the neck. It was the first real challenge to the official story, and it cracked the case wide open again. Given that the incident took place inside a school, investigators turned to security footage to piece together Kendrick's final moments. But what they found, or didn't find, raised even more questions. Crucial footage was missing. Several cameras in and around the gym showed time gaps ranging from minutes to hours. Authorities said the missing footage was due to technical glitches and syncing errors between different cameras. Independent analysts hired by the Johnson family argued otherwise, claiming the footage had been tampered with or selectively removed. Benjamin Crump, the family's attorney, stated bluntly, "You can't have a person walk into a gym and never walk out, and not have a camera show it." Without a complete video trail, the mystery deepened. How did Kendrick end up inside the mat? Did someone place him there? Some classmates claimed Kendrick often stored his shoes inside the mats, lending credibility to the accident theory. But skeptics pointed out that if Kendrick was reaching for a shoe, why were both of his shoes found inside the mat, one beneath his feet? And why didn't anyone hear him struggle? The gym wasn't empty the entire day. Too many questions, too few answers. As pressure mounted, the Department of Justice opened a formal investigation in 2014, and the FBI was brought in to take a closer look. The Johnson family believed Kendrick's death wasn't accidental, but a cover-up involving powerful local families. The Johnson family believed Kendrick's death wasn't accidental, but a cover-up involving powerful local families. The theory claimed there had been an altercation between Kendrick and the older brother over a past conflict, one that may have turned deadly. However, no direct evidence tying the brothers to Kendrick's death was ever released to the public. The boys filed defamation lawsuits against the Johnson family and their supporters, leading to years of complex legal back and forth. In 2016, after a lengthy investigation, the Department of Justice announced it would not file any federal charges, citing insufficient evidence. The news was a crushing blow to Kendrick's family, but they didn't give up. They continued to march, protest, and petition for Kendrick's case to be reopened. The memory of their son and the many unanswered questions fueled a movement that stretched far beyond Georgia. In 2021, nearly 8 years after Kendrick's death, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office announced it had reopened the investigation. Sheriff Ashley Polk said new interviews and over 17 boxes of evidence from the FBI had prompted a fresh look at the case. Yet when the results came in nearly a year later, they once again concluded there was no foul play. The Johnson family rejected the findings, calling them a political cover-up and saying the investigation only recycled old conclusions. "This wasn't justice," Kendrick's father said. "This was an insult." By now, Kendrick's case had become bigger than one family's tragedy. It had become a symbol. To some, it represents the systemic failures of small-town justice. To others, it exposes how race, power, and privilege can tilt the scales. Advocates across the country echoed the same plea: Kendrick Johnson deserves real answers. Thousands signed petitions to have federal charges refiled. Millions viewed documentaries and social media threads reigniting public interest. From YouTube channels to podcasts and Netflix specials, Kendrick's story lived on. But for the Johnson family, it's not content, it's a never-ending pain. Kendrick Johnson was more than a headline. He was a son, a brother, a student, a young man with dreams cut short. And yet, more than a decade after his death, we're left with a puzzle that refuses to be solved. 2 autopsies with different conclusions, missing surveillance footage, conflicting witness statements, no arrests, no clear cause, no peace. For his family, closure remains out of reach. Every press conference, every investigation, every new denial reopens the wound. Kendrick's story joins hundreds, even thousands, of unresolved cases in America. But this one stands out because it happened in plain sight, in a school, surrounded by people, under the watch of cameras. And still, no one saw, no one heard, no one has answered the question that started it all. What happened to Kendrick Johnson? Because sometimes the most deafening sound is silence.